Willkommen, Huanan, and welcome to Full Throttle Racing's Division 2 evening, and we're here to race for race 9 of the season. This is the penultimate race of the season now, with a slightly foreshortened season. Welcome if you are joining us along for tonight's race. Just going to get everything organised for you, and then we'll be up and running. But like I say, we have foreshortened this season slightly, so it means that tonight is even more important than it normally is. We've got someone on the precipice of a potential championship win here, and we have crowned already our constructors champions as Ricky Lau heads out onto the track for the first flying lap. I'm going to join him and talk about the championship position in just a moment, because I think the drivers will in all likelihood be performing one flying lap in this session. Lord Cypher has already retired from the session. That was involuntary, it seems, in the S's of the Mexican Grand Prix, where we have a 90-degree series of corners, right, left, right for turns 1, 2 and 3, as we then head down towards the turn 4 similar profile corner and another switchback opportunity before going into the V-shaped double right-handing apex of turn 6. A launch, a slingshot out of turn 6, and heading then down towards the treacherous S's section, the scene of many a race-ending or penalty awarding situation with everybody going through these quick corners. You'll see the penalties rack up through the race, but this is qualifying, and it's all about threading the needle into the stadium section, of course, and then a quick short burst down towards this very difficult Mickey Mouse low grip section in the baseball stadium before heading out onto the legendary half semi Peraltada before going towards the line. And Ricky Lau gets a 1:17.321. Hi to Tormund and to the boss as well, who are watching along, and good to see you both commenting, and appreciate the welcome back. My apologies for last week, an unavoidable work commitment that I couldn't do anything about. And unfortunately, next week I'm also on vacation for that week. So I'm hoping, for my sake at least, very selfishly, that the championship does get settled tonight. We'll follow Uzi through the Peraltada then for the final approach through to qualifying for this first attempt. Uzi gets a 1:17.8, so that means current order is Sergeant Panda, Jack, Slater, Ricky Lau, Uzi, AP Marg, and Salzmeister, with Salzmeister yet to set a time. Shakes invalidates over the S's, as I was perhaps intimating may occur. And then Wezo, a little bit late to the fast run party. He's on the medium tyres and just in sector 1 at the moment. Lots of time to think about where your braking marker point may be. Lots of time to possibly even get a little bit distracted on your way into these corners. But a purple first sector for Wezo, for himself, of course. It's all about making sure that that track map does not turn red on this first attempt. I think the drivers have been instructed to retire after a single lap. Whether that means one valid lap or one attempt, I'm not entirely sure at this stage. We'll see what happens. It looks like Shakes is going again anyway on this run on the medium tyres, just to make sure he gets himself through to the next part of qualifying. We may lose one driver, we may lose two in Q1. We've only got 15 starters tonight, so it will affect things. A 5-place grid penalty has just been awarded to Ricky Lau, unfortunately, presumably some sort of contact there on the circuit. And Wezo goes in the Red Bull up to P4 at 1:17.607, the only driver on a medium tyre, but having beaten two soft running tyre drivers at this stage. Let's see if, well, Shakes can't make it through the S's on these tyres for the second time, so he obviously needs a lot of warm up on the tyres. Martin has gone on the fastest time, a 16.215, and with pressure on to complete these laps, of course, the driver's likely to make slightly more mistakes than usual to try and get everything together. Avalak, Pampern and Brad are on track at the moment. Let's see where Avalak is. Oh, I think Brad is about to finish his lap. No, it's Avalak who is further along the track at the moment. He's just on an outlap though, just getting those medium tyres heated up. Brad saving a set of softs for the next few sessions and is on the mediums. Who else is watching with us? Do say hello. Tormund, remind me who you're supporting. Are you Team Ferrari, Tormund? I think you might be. And if you are watching with us, let me know who you're here to support. Always like to know who the popular drivers are and whether your predictions come true. We've got Pampern, who is in P12 at the moment, having not set a time. Dan, interestingly, in the pits, has managed to put on intermediate tyres. I think Dan will probably fix that shortly. Dan has scored points already this season, although he's trailing towards the back of the standings at the moment. Like I say, I'll talk you through the standings after these initial laps in Q1, and then we won't have to try and remember them for so long. And yeah, Tormund is a Ferrari boy, and he's here for his co-drivers across division. Avalak has retired from the session, unfortunately, and has, I think, lost the car coming out of turn 3. Let's see if we can see the aftermath of Avalak's accident. There he is, unfortunately, right there. So yeah, he is out. Pampern managed to get a P5, 17.135. Sorry, I took my eye off the ball for a moment there. And we've got Brad heading towards the S's. Let's see if Brad can make it through the S's in one clean sweep. Just get this first single flying lap on the board and be done with. Martin retires from the session in the pits as instructed, just to not belabour today's qualifying too much. Avalak might be regretting asking everyone to retire, but he will be the penultimate guy on the in the field at the moment. So if we do lose one driver, he might still get through. Brad then on the medium tyres goes P4, slightly slower than his teammate, but very, very slightly, less than 0.03 of a second between the two of them. Shakes on 4-lap-old mediums, Brad on a 1-lap-old, with just Salzmeister and Dan left to set a lap. If Dan is bothering, I'm not entirely. Yes, he's on an outlap, and he's out there. He's actually going to drive these laps on the intermediate tyres, so that should be interesting. See just how slow he runs the lap. But Salzmeister is heading on through the S's, survived the S's this time, keeps the lap alive. Possibly a shade too much turn in, and apex from him on turn 12. Just need to refresh my memory on the corner numbers. I think I'm getting that right. Yes, turn 12 is the right-hander into the stadium. So good to see. And then Salzmeister then a 17.450. And let's see how Dan's getting on those intermediate tyres. I wish I could see his tyre temperatures on the dash, but I can't read that text that small, unfortunately. We should be able to get that kind of information as spectators and engineers. That would be pretty awesome. Another wish list for a game in the future. I'm pretty sure that Codemasters aren't watching or going to add it for me in time for the next game, unfortunately. I did put in a couple of requests for features, so whether they read that or feel like helping me out as a streamer remains to be seen. We'll find out, of course, on the 1st of July. Down into the stadium then for Dan, you can see the chronic understeer. Obviously those intermediate tyres are really suffering. I think he's just out having a bit of fun on these inters, trying to keep the lap valid. And in he goes then to the final 2 corners. Massive oversteer. The rear's heated right up. He registers the time though, a 30.210. Just gambling here a little bit that he won't get eliminated from this session. I think he will be all safe though. Those are the first laps all in on the board for those that made it round the first lap, and presumably very soon we will see the cars come on into the pits and close us off. Well, I think Dan might know he's being watched right now, and he's spun the car. A little pirouette there. Brad's on his way into the pits on third fastest time. He did go round and get a faster time in than his teammate Shakes. Jacques going around for another lap, is he? What are you doing then, Jacques? We were hoping to try and trim this session down if at all possible. So let's see what Jacques intends to do here. Looks like Ron is late home from work, burning the candle at both ends for Ron. I'm not sure he's going to make it in time for tonight's race. If he does, he'll be starting at the back regardless. Dan is slowly but surely trying to get these this car back to the pits, I think, on those shredded intermediate tyres now. Jacques not going any faster on through sector 2, but he's within range of being able to improve that if he had a difficult final sector, or he can absolutely monster this one. Brad has retired from the session. We're leaving 3 cars live in the session at the moment. Hopefully Brad's going to be finishing up. Jacques is bringing the car all the way back then. Not going to go any quicker. Salzmeister is 3/10 slower in sector 1 on his tyres, and he's the only one at the moment on track. We could almost do with a one-shot quali option for Q1 in these circumstances, but we are somewhat limited with how many minutes we have to spend watching. Salzmeister then, are we going to go in the pits or are we going to retire? Salzmeister in towards the pits then. I presume this will mean that he, Dan and Jacques will retire very soon. Well, while we wait for them to retire from the session, I will tell you about the championship standings. Well, Brad is on the cusp. Brad could well become champion today. He needs to outscore Shakes. He is currently 29 points on 179 points against Shakes 150 points. Brad has typically beaten Shakes in most races to this point, so as you can tell by the points difference, of course. Stoffel, after leading the championship early doors, has faded somewhat back to third place on 105, the only other driver over 100 points on 3 digits. And then we have Pampern, who was Punaki, I believe, so a change of name there. Pampern is on 90 points. Avalak and Wezo joint 5th place on 84. Wezo is a reserve driver and is joint 5th place. I'll pause there to go through Q1, and we have unfortunately lost Avalak from the session, so it was 2 drivers that were eliminated. Martin, Sergeant Panda, Brad, Salzmeister, Shakes, Jacques, Pampern, Ricky Lau, the AlphaTauri pairing in 7th and 8th, then Wezo, Uzi, AP Marg and Dan in 12th place, losing Avalak and Lord Cypher due to their spinalas or retirements from the session. A note there on Jacques Slater's car: he will pick up that 5th place penalty, regardless of where he starts the session. After all of this, he will pick up that 5th place penalty. I think there was contact there with Ricky Lau, possibly. Anyway, we got to 5th in the championship, joint Avalak and Wezo. Then comes Donovan in 7th, Salzmeister, J-Boy, Ricky Lau in 10th. Well, it's all very close though. Further back from J-Boy, Ricky Lau, Jacques, Panda, Cowboy, Botta, Burn It Down, Ron, Martin, Dan, and Uzi making out all the point scorers. We've got Esotronic and Maxstar. Apologies to them as well. Lord Cypher's still looking for his first points of the season, but it's anyone's game down in the bottom half of the draw. But it is looking very likely to be Brad's way through towards the championship today, if he can outscore his teammate Shakes. In the Constructors' Championship, Ferrari are the Constructors' Champions of Season 6. I'm reliably informed that that is the situation. Ferrari have been crowned champion. They are far and away ahead of everybody else. They're on 562 points. If you're wondering how that works, it's because they share the points with Division 1, the Premier Division drivers, which is why we also get Tormund. So congratulations to Tormund and all the Ferrari drivers for that win. And then we have Alfa Romeo on 313 points, closely followed by Williams on 304. So a big tight battle for second place, even to Mercedes and Red Bull, 287, 285. It really is anybody's game through to the end of the season with regard to second, third and fourth places on the Constructors' Championship. Then you go back to Alpine, AlphaTauri, McLaren, Haas and Aston Martin are at the tail of the field with just 46 points over the entire season from both divisions. That's how things stand anyway, and let's get back on track because we're here for Q2 now. So Ricky Lau, first driver on track for Q2. And we did thankfully save a little bit of time on Q1, so we should have some time for some interviews at the end of the race. Ricky Lau into turn 1 then, and 2, tightly going through the corners, nice and controlled, getting a launch down the mini straight. I guess on some circuits it's longer than the longest straight, that gap between turns 3 and 4, but now we're really into the meat of this lap. Very slow V-shaped turn 6 before we go into turn 7, the start of the S's section. Joshua Lee, shout out to Joshua Lee for joining us. He was wishing everyone good luck. Who are you supporting, Joshua, tonight? Down then in towards the stadium once again for Ricky. Looking quick through turn 12. Very wide entry to 13. That was maybe a little bit too much curb, and we've lost Pampun or Punaki from the session. He will definitely be eliminated. Over the line then goes Ricky Lau, 1:18.738. Pretty slow time, in all honesty. I'm sure he won't mind me saying that for this one. We saw a 1:16 in qualifying, in the first session of qualifying. So let's concentrate for now on Uzi. You only need to rewind by a couple of minutes to hear the championship standings if you're interested, guys, if you've only just joined us. All the fast switchbacks as Martin rejoins the track far and away outside of the circuit. Uzi then, turn 12. At a nice angle, perhaps slightly too wide on entry for Uzi. Keeping the car right for the shortest stint to the line, and Uzi gets a nice lap in there, a 16.2. That's faster than we saw in Q1. So good to see a good improvement. Ricky Lau's going to have to do it all for AlphaTauri on his own in Q2 here, with Punaki or Pampun having an issue there, crashing out of the session just on the warm-up lap, I think. And Shane is cheering on McLaren, so just Jacques Slater for Shane tonight. Only one McLaren in the field tonight, Shane, unfortunately. So AP Marg goes P5. 20.9 is certainly taking it easy on those tyres for the first lap. Who else have we got? Have we got Dan? Dan has set a time on a 19.1 on the medium tyres. I think he's going again, and he's 0.8 faster than he's been on the previous lap. So looking to get a good lap in here for Dan. He's decided to put dry tyres on in this dry session, which is different to what he did in Q1, just to get himself through. Down then across the line, P3, 1:17.941. He has been beaten on the first lap by Jacques Slater, but he outperforms Ricky Lau, AP Marg, and everybody else who has yet to set a time, of course, including Punaki Pampun, who is out of the session So joining Solsmeister then in the Mercedes. Hi to Hanko, who joins us. Good to have you with us, Hanko, and welcome aboard. Who do you guys think is going to be out of Q2, eliminated from Q2? And more to the point, how many drivers will we lose? Will we lose 3, 2, 4? It's a bit of a lottery when there's reduced numbers. Solsmeister with a 57.7 second sector. Missing the apex slightly into 13. A lot of engine braking going on. Out to the line then, a 17.5 for Solsmeister. Up there into P2, but I think there's a fairly big gap there in between P1 and 2 to slot your car into. Brad is going fairly well here, although that first trip through turn 13 was not his finest. Pressure of the championship here for Brad. Could well be winning it tonight. 15.7 is the way to go. Who am I to tell Brad how to drive through that stadium section? A 15.792. Very tidy time from Ferrari driver and championship leader. I dare say that will be enough for him tonight, unless he fancies some more practice on different compounds. I don't think he needs to work the wheel anymore through this session. How did Wezer avoid an invalidation on the inside of the final 2 corners there? He crosses the line in a 16.245, just shading out Uzi into second place. We also have Martin on the track at the moment. Unfortunately, he has invalidated, so we'll join Shakes instead, who is trying to hold on to his chances of the title. One race to go after tonight. So he needs to try and outscore his teammate to take it to the wire. Oh, the car just stepped out on him out of turn 5, and unfortunately that's an invalidation for Shakes as well. So Martin and Shakes both no scoring their first laps. Brad on his way in the pits. I wondered if he might be going for an extra lap. He is not. What about Solsmeister? He's actually a bit quicker here on his 3rd lap on the soft tyres, which could eat into his strategy in the race if he sets his fastest time on these tyres. Remember, the tyre they score their fastest lap on in this session decides the grid. It is 2021 rules, not 22 rules, where you have free choice of tyres regardless. And that's too much apex again into turn 7. Not for the first time we've seen that tonight. Great to have everybody joining us at this stage. If you go back to the end of Q1, you'll hear the championship standings. Brad is on the precipice of becoming the Season 6 Division 2 champion. We've got Sergeant Panda starting a lap right now. Shakes went into the pits for a new set of tyres. Doesn't want to start the race on those tyres. And what's Martin up to? He's keeping the lap alive and surviving turn 7 this time round. No shortage of turn-in. Can he stop the car from braking on the outside of the circuit? Just lost the car, unfortunately, for Martin. We've got the Williams driver then, Sergeant Panda, setting a clean first sector. Nice first sector indeed from him. Tight line on turn 6. Sounds like the car's going into fuel saving mode quite often. He's short shifting so much to reduce that snap oversteer through the S's. Down we go then into the stadium. The roar of the crowd on the final lap. Something to be believed. It's looking pretty clean end to the lap here from Sergeant Panda. And up to P2, a 16.1. Much closer then up to Brad this time. Brad not with it, having it all his own way at this stage. I've got Shakes on an outlap. I think we might have Jacques running a lap at the moment. I know we've got someone here to watch for Jacques, for Shane here. He's only just outside of his fastest time, so he can still do it. Oh, he's invalidated, sadly. No way through for him. Uzi's on the next lap. Several retirements already, though I think people on the cusp of whatever cut-off point we will have, whether that's P11, P10, P9, remains to be seen, but I think we will have drivers pushing towards the end. How did Uzi stay valid in that lap? 4 wheels definitely off the circuit, but he's over his delta anyway, so no improvement on its way. Shakes may do though, as he start his next lap for Shakes. He'll want to get towards the 115s here. Looks like we've got a little bit of attendance issues happening at the moment. Oh, Shakes is invalidated on turn 2 of the racetrack. The Circuito Hermanos Rodriguez in Mexico City. So, what else have we got? Jack on a cool down lap, looks like. Got Martin on an out lap, and a number of drivers just chilling out. And we've got people, motorbikes on the street outside my house, also on an out lap, it sounds like. Apologies if that came through the microphone. Adds a little bit of atmospherics, maybe. Martin invalidates his out lap. He's really struggling to get through these S's tonight, is Martin. Wearing the, I think, the George Russell helmet here, the 63. Little short shift, looking for a wide entry for the fastest possible trip down the start-finish straight. Martin then begins another lap, as does Shakes ahead. Shakes will certainly be hoping to complete the lap this time out. There's only 4 drivers left in the session. It's all about those S's, I think, for Martin. Shakes, I hope, has survived the first sector. Let's go and have a quick look. He has survived the first sector, so that's job number 1 done. Ricky Lau leaves the session for now. Martin just getting a little bit of understeer on corner entry into turn 6. It's not unusual for anybody. Big apex into 7. Just needs to dial it back a little bit. Being super greedy on those apexes, but cleanly through. Now it's just the stadium to go. Shakes is keeping the lap valid. Heads towards the line then. Shakes will put in a 15.8, much more like it from Shakes. That's how it's done. A 15.849, nice and close to his teammate. Just over 500ths of a second away from his teammate. And Martin towards the line then. A P7 17.5 on the medium tyre. We've got a number of drivers who have set their lap on the medium tyre. And that will definitely feed into their strategy later. Anybody from Dan downwards is at risk here, I feel. Depending on what the game decides, we could lose 2, 3 or 4 drivers before we head into Q3. I don't know that Shakes... No, Shakes is definitely not going for another lap here. Jack is waiting in the pits, but not retiring. So there's that, I suppose. That is a thing that's happening. Just checking in on the driver room, not seeing any major updates from them. I don't actually have a weather report yet, so looks like that's the end of our session, and we will go towards the results screen shortly. There we go. Okay, so Brad and Shakes on top with the only drivers in the 115s. A 115.792, 5700ths of a second, and further back is Shakes. Then we have on a 16.1 Panda, a 16.2 Wezo, a 16.2 Uzi, then Salzmeister 16.6, and then a bit of a gap then to the medium runners of Martin, Jacques and Dan. Ricky Lau securing 10th place and qualification into Q3, with just AP Mark and Pampun who have unfortunately not made it, and they will have to wait until the race before they get back in the car. So before we begin Q3, I'd love to hear your predictions. Give me a pole time, give me a pole position winner as well, and let's see if you're right. I can't offer you any prizes, unfortunately. Other, of course, than the prize of great kudos on the live stream, which surely is a prize in itself. We've got an AlphaTauri heading out on track. That must be Ricky Lau, because we know that his teammate was eliminated. So both Ferraris, both Williams, and then I think it's solo teammates. Well, solo non-teammates, right? So, and it's yeah, one each of everybody else. No Haas in the top 10, however. And Puna Vermac says, watch out for Martin. Got it, okay. Is that a watch out, he's great, or watch out because he crashes into people? So, let me know. Ricky Lau, always hot out the pits. I think he knows my system, where I always give the first hot lap to the guy who makes it out of the track on first of all. So just 12 minutes of Q3, of course. That's all you get, but free choice of tyres for anybody. I don't think anyone will bother qualifying on the mediums in this session unless they really feel like they can't. So Puna says P1 for Martin, so we're meaning watch out because he's amazing, which is great. And the boss says they can win a ticket into next season with me. Is that a viewer's ticket on YouTube? Boss. Down into turn 1 then goes Ricky Lau, seesawing the wheel a little bit. Nice apexes from Ricky. Hit the sausage curb on the inside there. That'll just unsettle the car, and he does so again. It will compromise his ability to put the power down quite so early. Turn 7 comes, and then quickly followed by 8, 9, and then here's 10 and 11 to the right of those polystyrene. You either commit there to running wide or not running wide. You can't half-heart it, but stayed valid, did Ricky, through this one. And away we go then into the final 2 corners. Over the line we go. Ricky Lau at 1:17.384, and the boss says he never gets the chance to comment live on the stream. He needs to crash out of qualifying more often, maybe. Shakes a 15.3. Wow, he means business tonight. And Brad is waiting in the pits for everybody to clean the track again. But Jacques goes a 16.9, so Shakes on a 15.3 is very, very quick indeed. Beautiful stuff. Jaco is here for Wezo, who has retired from the session, unfortunately. Jaco, I don't know if that's what you're indicating on the live chat. If you maybe give me an English translation, if that's clean and possible, please do. Here comes Dan in the Alpine, who will be very happy to be through to Q3 tonight. Just trying to get that power down. You can hear the wheel spin on Dan's car. Away to the line. It's a 1:17.8. Hi to Gerhard. who I'm sure is here for, well, I would say here for Botta, but he's not here today. So let me get this straight. Help me out here, Puna. It says Yista means steel. So Yako is saying something about steel with about Wezo. So Dan is exploring the rallycross options at Circuito Hermanos Rodriguez while I read the live chat. So I will focus on the drivers as Salzmeister is, I think everyone is heading into the pits. Maybe Panda will be attacking the lap at the moment. Salzmeister, it will go round, but it's another fairly slow lap. A 17.2. Sorry, yeah, 17.2, but he managed a 16.7 earlier on. Sergeant Panda, the only one on a lap right now. Yako says Wezo for the win, which is great. Sometimes I don't know, in a different language, I don't know if people are writing kind, supportive words about the drivers or something else. Sometimes people are here just to rag on their mates. So, through the S's goes Sergeant Panda. He's got Martin also through to Q3 with him. Nice final couple of corners here from Sergeant Panda. Just a little over eager on the throttle, but a 15.8. Only the first non-Ferrari driver to get into the 15s tonight already. Maybe the track's warming up, but I don't want to take anything away from Sergeant Panda. We'll see what kind of lap time Brad can put in here. He's managed to navigate Sector 1 happily. A reminder, I know we've had a lot of people joining us into Q2, but Brad could win the championship tonight by finishing ahead of Shakes. So it's very much on. Ferrari are already Constructors Champions, so there's nothing to play for in terms of playing team games between the two of them. It is just here for individual results tonight. Brad versus Shakes is what it's all about for the championship. There will be one further race next week. However, unfortunately, I won't be with you for it, so I'm hoping that we can wrap it up. Brad, a 15.399, and for the first time, he will see P2 on the board tonight and not P1. So still plenty of time to go, just under 5 minutes before the checkered flag. Plenty of time to get your lap prepared and underway. Even for Panda and for Brad, they can go out and do another lap shortly. I'm sure Panda is on his way into... Oh, well, I'm somewhat surprised by that. Panda going round again. I could just put him in a bit of a hurry to get his next lap in. Ricky Lau, currently a 17.3. His fastest lap. He'll be looking for a much bigger improvement through the first sector, and we'll get an update just as he hits the brakes for the next corner. Right now, 006 faster in the first sector, so certainly on target, but hasn't taken a big chunk of time out of his lap. I think maybe his second and third sectors were less good. Again, just slightly in two minds with the turn in of turn 7. And now a big chunk faster, 3/4 of a second faster, knocking on the door of the 116s here from Ricky Lau, potentially, which is still a little bit further away than I was expecting to see him. And as the boss says, great stuff to see Dan through to Q3, absolutely. Really good stuff. It's on an upward curve. Also on an upward curve, Ricky Lau, a 16.555, puts him P5, right in the middle of the standings. And I think he'll be fairly happy with that one, but wanting to push again. There goes Uzi. Unfortunately, he has gunned it through the S's too fast. Let's join Jacques, who is a 1/4 of a second faster through Sector 1. Who else have we got out there? We've got Brad cooling the car down, I think. Must be coming into the pits after the second lap. I will have a look at him shortly. Let's just see Jacques through here. No, Brad goes across the line, doesn't improve, so a little bit of a wasted trip there, and now he's got all the track to go back around again. There's a car in front of Jacques. It is Shakes in the Ferrari. No, correct myself. That was Shakes just going past, starting his lap. It is Brad on his way into the pits now. There he goes, into the pits. So Jacques comes through the final corner from P7. This is an improvement, a good improvement, but it's not enough to take him beyond P6, as Shakes goes to try and defend his pole position by dropping the bar even further. Raising the bar. You don't drop a bar. What sport would you drop a bar in? Limbo? But yes, raising the bar is the usual way, isn't it? Through turn 7 then. Into these race spoiling S's. Down towards the timing sector. He's slightly quicker. Not by a huge amount, but he's already on pole. So he can throw everything at the wall of this this final sector. I mean, not literally the wall, of course. Nice upshift there just to control the car through to the final corner, and it's a 15.288, fastest time we've seen so far tonight, with a minute and a half left to go. Clive says Brad's not going to make it for his second run. That is very true. I don't think he's even going to try. I think having just got into the pits now, that is all over. Dan has made a 3/4 second improvement here and could well get himself into the 16s. He needs to get considerably well into the 16s to move up a place, but of course Martin yet to set a time, and I think might have stopped on track. Martin or Panda have stopped on track. Dan crosses the line 9/10 faster, does successfully get into the 1/16s, but unfortunately not enough. Dan can afford to go round again and set another lap. Martin is slowing here, having invalidated this lap, so we'll be on for another go at it. Shakes is going much faster through sector 1, but just pushes too much in the S's there. So we know Dan's on a lap. I think Sergeant Panda might be about to start a lap, is he? Although he's on 4-lap old softs, I can't imagine him getting a better timeout. No, into the pits comes Sergeant Panda. Uzi has crossed the line and will start another lap. So we've got Uzi, we've got, I think, Dan and Martin able to push on another lap. Martin with all the pressure on his shoulders and just, again, way too much apex. He has got so much turn-in oversteer. It is chronic in the setup. I don't know if that will help him. Typically an oversteer setup will not help a driver in the race. So there we go, a 0.128 improvement for Uzi. Needs about 4/10, maybe 4/10 and a little bit to get up onto P3. Needs nearly a second to get onto P2. So the boss Avalak saying that his daughter's upset as Red Bull have got nowhere. Well, it's all to play for in the race. Qualifying is more or less a little bit of fun and bragging rights. It could all still happen in the race. 0.3 of a second improvement now for Uzi, looking to try and get himself into the window onto P3, onto the clean side of the track, such as it is here in Mexico. Such as the difference is, maybe it doesn't really make a huge difference, but towards the line, and Uzi up to P3, nicely done. The final flying lap that we saw on the circuit, Uzi in P3. But your order of the qualifying, before I take a quick break: Shakes, Brad, Uzi, Sergeant Panda, Ricky Lau, Jacques, Salzmeister, then Dan. All completed times, with Martin and Wezo unfortunately not, but starting 9th and 10th. Fastest lap then. Oh, Brad, what is going on? How did he do that? How did he cross that line? That's just unfair. Brad, a 1:14.9, smashes the pole position time, and everyone's heart sinks. Brad is absolutely on it for this championship. I don't know how he got that car round to the start-finish line, unless he's got a slightly desync delta to the rest of the drivers. But that is your qualifying then. Scrap everything I just said. Brad beats Shakes. I'll be back in just a moment. Hey everybody, back with Webbo. Just noticed how flag appropriate the attire is of all the crowd there in Mexico. Very green, white, and red, isn't it? The mixture. But we're about underway. You know, I was just thinking, I wonder if maybe Brad short-cutted a lot of the circuit and was able to get round faster than we would normally expect, or if he had a little bit of desync. But there's your starting order, 15 drivers. Burn It Down joins us, which is great to see. So Burn It Down in 15th will make 15 starters for the circuit, for the race around the legendary circuit here. 36 laps. They are pretty quick laps, but 36 laps for a 50% race is what we're going to have. And there's the tyre selection then. Ricky Lau, Dan and Martin all managed to get through to Q3, as did AP Marg on the medium tyres. So we'll start on those mediums. Ricky Lau, the fastest medium runner. Then we have Jacques and Pampern as well, also on the medium. Everybody else on the soft tyre. So a real split between the two strategies here of a soft medium or a medium soft. Some people might try a two-stopper, but it really is a one-stop race in normal circumstances. They might even try the hard tyre if something untoward goes on the first lap. Have your predictions then. Dying to know what you all think is going to happen, particularly who's going to be on the podium. If you think Brad's going to win it and therefore win the championship, or at least to beat Shakes to win the championship, let me know. If the pressure of the championship you think is going to affect him, and most importantly, I'd love to know what Little Miss Avalac thinks is going to happen. So do type in if you think your dad is going to get himself up into the points today. Brad on pole, Shakes next to him, then comes Uzi, Panda, Ricky Lau, Solsmeister and Dan, Martin, Wezo, AP Mark, Jacques, Pampern, Avalac, Lord Cypher and Burn It Down. And Joshua Lee says double Ferrari. Is that a DNF, a terminal? Yeah, so you reckon a double Ferrari DNF. Well, here's hoping for some of you. I know we've got Ferrari drivers in the live chat. They're not going to take kindly to that one. We're almost underway then. Here we go then for 36 laps around the Circuito Hermanos Rodriguez in Mexico City. The lights are on. The revs are building. Hold those revs. Drop the clutch and go, go, go. A good start from P3 on Uzi's car ahead, but the Ferraris are creating a red wall in front of the Aston Martin, who suddenly sees the wall part open, and down the middle of the two front-running drivers goes Uzi. He's looking for that gap. The Ferrari driver's sweeping across. It's Brad taking the pole position in towards the whole shot of turn 1. Shakes getting a little bit leery on the exit of turn 3. Cold tyres are the order of the day, and it looks like he's let Uzi down the inside. Uzi goes for it. Shakes leaves very little room at the apex, and it's 1, 2, 3. Brad, Shakes, Uzi, and then behind come the blue cars of Sergeant Panda, Dan and Martin. Salzmeister. Lord Cypher's got up 3 places from the back of the grid. Avalac still at the tail of the field, but still in the race. So no race-ending damage at this stage. Up 3 places for Burn It Down as well, and it's AP Marg and Avalac who've really suffered the worst of it. Although Ricky Lau down 5 places, starting on those medium tyres, they really haven't helped him. The front 3 already starting to get away from the rest of the field, and they'll be outside of DRS range very shortly indeed. Sergeant Panda trying to hang on to the back of the front 3, but it's Uzi right on the back of Shakes. Shakes desperately needing to outscore his teammate tonight to keep the championship open until the final race of the season next week here on the same channel. Uzi then getting tucked up behind Shakes, getting a great slipstream. He won't have a huge overspeed due to the difference in top speed, although his setup's pretty good. He's got the inside line, but they'll go side by side and they will make contact. And Uzi squeezed possibly around the corner. He goes for a rejoin, and it's not the safest of rejoins, frankly. Down into the bottom half of the order goes Uzi, and he won't be happy about the treatment he received from Shakes, who can now breathe easier with Sergeant Panda some 2 seconds behind him. He's already, has Shakes been gapped by his teammate, and I think Brad and his teammate, even though they're fighting for the championship, might try and make this a two-horse race, two-prancing horse race. As usual, they usually try and keep each other in DRS range and gap the rest of the field, but it's Brad versus Shakes for the only prize left, which is the top of the championship. So it's Solsmeister. It's absolutely heartbreaking to see Uzi out of that fight. I was getting really into that one. We've got Wezo in 7th. Jacques just defending from Uzi here. Jacques on the medium tyres, and that's going to hurt Uzi, who is stuck behind a medium run-up. Solsmeister half a second behind Dan, who has Martin half a second behind him. Wezo similar behind him, and then a little gap to Jacques. Looks like Uzi might have a good run here on the soft tyres out of the final corner. That must be paired with a slight problem for Jacques, but unfortunately Uzi's given up the inside line. He blends out the throttle. Very smart from Uzi. Tries to switch back again, can't quite get it done, but he gets right alongside, sweeps across the front, doesn't want to be in the inside through turn 1 again tonight, and back up then to P8 for Uzi. Looks like Shakes has also caught back up to his teammate, stayed within that DRS range. DRS now enabled for the next detection zone, which I think will be on the entry into the final corner. But the first 3 laps, plenty of action, as Uzi has already picked up a penalty going before he even gets to the S's on lap 3. So has Shakes, crucially, and that is huge for the championship. Shakes needs to keep a clean set of wheels here tonight to have any hope of beating his teammate. And that was a slow run through the S's for Dan, and almost looked like he missed a gear as Martin gets straight past him, unless that was a release. I don't think it was. There's no real reason to release him. Dan getting all over the place. I don't know if those tyres are ready to race yet for him. And it Shakes half a second behind his teammate. I think you need to be within half a second at the start of the straight. And here he comes with the overspeed, the DRS. We've got a red light blinking on the back of Brad's car. And they almost do, they touch. There's a little wiggle on the front wing from Shakes. Looks like he might have made the tiniest bit of contact, and Shakes needs to keep his keep away from any other contact in case he's going to build up the damage model to the point where bits start dropping off. But they're certainly not treating each other quite the same. With quite the same margin as they have done previously in the season. Looks like Wezo and Dan are going to be side by side. No, Wezo's already passed Dan. Apologies for that one. I missed that catching, but yeah, Wezo passes Dan now, as does Uzi. Dan going backwards, unfortunately, in this stage of the race. I think he's struggling on those tyres. Certainly massive understeer through the S's there. Caught off guard behind Uzi. And as the leaders head into the stadium, we'll rejoin them in a moment. But it's Brad, Shakes, Panda, Solsmeister, Martin, your top 5 on lap 4. Shakes just slipping out slightly, and he's now out to 8/10 as they start the final start-finish straight here. But with the extra 3-second penalty, not good news at all. I think Wezo's far more likely to make a move here on the back of Martin. You heard the beep for the DRS. You can see the ERS light flashing ahead on Martin's car, which of course Wezo will see. There goes the overspeed before the braking zone. Wezo all the way alongside, all the way past before he hits the brakes, and up to P5 for Wezo in the Red Bull. So something to cheer on for little Miss Avalak, who is watching along and supporting the Red Bull team drivers. Avalak himself up to P10 from near the back of the grid as well. So a good climb for Avalak as well. While his daughter's watching. Uma says Shakes didn't leave space on Uzi. I tend to agree on first glance. I've only watched it once, so if you want to go back and watch it again and give me a more considered opinion, please do. But yeah, for me, that was my first reading of it, especially when you consider Shakes is trying to win a championship here, or try and stop his teammate winning the championship tonight effectively. He does need to be a little bit more careful, and it was only lap 1. Burn it down, 3-second time penalty picks up. The penalty's already 4 on the board, but that is as a result of this terrible S's section, as now we've got Dan and Avalak fighting. Dan still with massive understeer, really struggling. His qualifying pace was so good, but I wonder if he's gone all out on quali setup, and he's just got no grip on these mediums, as Avalak will be almost past Dan here, going up for he's going to overtake for P8. As I say, Avalak starting near the back, but with the points being earned in the race, he'll know that better than anybody, and it's definitely on the run. We're 1/6 of the way through the race already. Lap 6 is complete. Brad and Shakes away at the front, 6 seconds ahead of everybody else, and will continue that pattern, I would imagine, for some laps still to go. Burn It Down started without qualifying tonight, right at the very back of the grid, and certainly gets a good entry into the corner versus Lord Cypher's entry. Lord Cypher looking a little bit worse for wear going through here, perhaps burning through his cold tyres. And Brad, I think, picks up a penalty already. So Brad has picked up a penalty, but Shakes has doubled his penalties up to 6 seconds. Just as Brad gets one, so does Shakes, and then it's still advantage Brad. Sergeant Panda is just outside 6 seconds as Dan has retired from the session. Dan has hit the wall in Sector 2. I think that could trigger the dreaded visit from the safety car, because he's stranded on track. There we go. Yellow flag out of the exit of the final part of the S's, and while Pampoon is heading on through, you saw the missing front wing on Dan's car. Sad to see Dan out of the race, but no safety car called just yet. There's a big gap now for the marshals to clear the car and the traffic and the debris, I should say, and if they do so, we will avoid a safety car. But a long hold on this yellow flag, very, very long hold. Let's see what Wezo is up to. He's up to P4 at the moment, and he's just past Solsmeister. So Wezo taking Red Bull, as is Avalak. Red Bull's points haul adding up no end, and there's a penalty for Sergeant Panda as well. So any chance of him getting close to Brad has just been eliminated there. So the car has been cleared from the middle of the circuit, and we will go back under proper green flag racing, full circuit round, and it's lap 7. Brad and Shakes avoiding that safety car, thankfully, for their race of the race of two drivers here. We've got Sergeant Panda stuck out there in P3, having a bit of a lonely race at the moment, unable to stay with the Ferraris, and possibly starting to draw the rest of the field towards him. We've got Wezo heading the field here. Shakes, I think Shakes is pitting. Shakes has gone into the pit at the end of lap 8. We do often see Shakes burn through those tyres that little bit faster than his teammate. So Shakes has gone for the medium tyres on lap 8, which is a little bit ahead of where you want to be. Ideally, for a one-stopper, want to be lap 11 or 12 to get off those soft tyres. So a little bit of a compromise run, unless we're going for a two-stopper tonight. Uzi starting to get back on the pace of the race, back into P6, and looking at the P5 running Martin at the moment, hungrily, and hoping to try and get past him. Wezo picks up a penalty. The penalty's really adding up here tonight already. Would have thought the drivers would have been a little bit more cautious through the S's. But it is a very, very tricky racetrack. Here comes Uzi then, drawing alongside, already past Martin on the exit of the corner before they hit any form of DRS. But this is going to mean that Uzi gives up the DRS to Martin, and perhaps that was Martin's intention. Pampoon picks up a penalty going through the S's once again. He's down there at P14 at the moment, having an uncharacteristically poor race at this stage and qualifying, unfortunately. But it's Brad out in front, 9 seconds ahead of Panda, who's 3 seconds ahead of Wezo, who has Solsmeister just behind him. Martin is trying to use that extra little bit of grip, although on the medium tyres. Can be patient here. He's got good braking. You can see the difference in braking power on the mediums to the softs that are on their 9th lap now. Really starting to affect the drivers. We've got a possible pass coming up for Jacques versus Ricky Lau, and that was pretty easy. Frankly, Ricky Lau struggling. What's going on with Ricky? Can't seem to get the car pointing straight without having to apply steering lock. It looks like he's on a controller, and just struggling for feel on the car there a little bit. Martin staying with Uzi as best he can, but unfortunately looks like Uzi's managed to get on the back of Solsmeister as well, and really wants to get back into the thick of the battle at the front for the podium. He's got a fair few seconds to catch though. Hasn't pitted. Shakes has pitted, has come out 1.1 seconds ahead of Burn It Down, who's still struggling on those old soft tyres. Clive says, good call by Shakes, could be good, and then the message is retracted on my view. So unfortunately I couldn't get beyond good call, but I know there was more to say for Clive. Maybe you're rewriting it or editing it. Uzi then with a nice slipstream on Salzmeister, gets back into P4 for Uzi, and back on the recovery drive. He's definitely got the pace to be up with the front runners, but has he got enough time left on the race? 26 laps to go here in Mexico on the penultimate round of our season. Martin has a big battle going on here between Avalac and Salzmeister right behind him. Avalac gets up into P6, Salzmeister in P7. Avalac good on the tyres through this stint. He's obviously saving plenty of tyre life back for the run towards the end of the stint, and that is pretty important now. Is Shakes doing a two-stopper? That's a big question for me. Is he going to be suffering behind Burn It Down, or can he dispatch Burn It Down quickly? Uzi picks up a 3-second penalty. I think he wants an on-the-road victory rather than a victory after time adjustments. And Shakes is looking for a way past Burn It Down, who's defending fresh air on the inside into turn 12. No further pit stops. Oh, there he goes, Panda into the pits. So will Shakes get a good undercut on Panda? Panda cutting the race into a 1/3 and 2/3 kind of division, which is usually pretty sensible for the soft tyres, as Shakes has the DRS for the first time down the start finish, the full length of the start finish straight with against Burn It Down. Shakes into P6, makes contact into turn 1 for I think the 3rd time tonight. Shakes making contact, and Salzmeister doing the switch back and getting the place back. Shakes gets a second load of DRS. Salzmeister has the inside line though coming into the next few corners and just hogs that apex. Just positions the car very smartly. Shakes with a great switch back here. He can be late on the brakes. Can they avoid contact once again? Shakes leaving a little bit more room now. Looking for good drive out of the corner into turn 7. And just about hanging on here. Shakes taking back that place from Burn It Down, but made a meal of it and cuts across the apex. That could risk a further penalty warning for him. Avalac is currently in P3 after those pit stops from the drivers around him. We've got Sergeant Panda, Wezo and Shakes have all pitted. Shakes did gain places and a gap, I think. Gained a couple of seconds, I think, on Sergeant Panda. Avalac profiting from Uzi's pit stop. Will Uzi get the over or undercut on Shakes? No, definitely not. Shakes has already passed him significantly, and remember, these guys might be tasty if they get together later in the race after that turn 1 lap 1 incident. But we saw contact between Shakes and Uzi. Martin closing for P2 here on Avalac. Avalac brought the car forward and forward through the race. Massive climb up the order, but he has gained from a few pit stops. So we'll wait until all the pit stops are out before we start looking at positions gained to make a judgment on people's race so far. But clearly he's climbing up the order. Clearly he's finishing the stint well, and this is the perfect time to stop for medium tyres for a one-stopper. It is getting pretty close further back. We'll just see if Avalac pits, and then we'll go further back in the grid and see what else is happening. Brad leads the race though by 15.1 seconds. Expecting a pit stop from Avalac here. Looks a bit slow into the final corner. In he goes then into the pits for Avalac. So Brad does lead the race from Martin now. Brad has yet to pit, the only soft starter yet to pit. So not only is he quick, he's also good on the tyres, is Brad. So definitely keeping everybody else training hard into the next season. Of course, next season will be a complete reset, brand new game mechanics. Who can cope with a bouncing car? Only a joke. I don't think they are actually going to code in the bouncing, fortunately. I can't imagine doing that in VR. Ricky Lau right behind Jacques here in the battle for 5th place, although Jacques has the DRS as well because he was temporarily there under a second behind Panda, who is starting to stretch away on the newer mediums at this stage of the race. Brad 15.8 seconds ahead of Martin. Shakes some 2 seconds back, having stopped, but may need to stop again. And then this group here, Panda, Jacques, Ricky Lau, as Wezo goes wide, goes around Uzi. Uzi's a bit boxed in, stays wide. We'll get the inside line to the next corner as the Red Bull tries to go the long way around the outside, and very well navigated from all 3 drivers there. It'd be very easy to trip over each other, and oh dear, Uzi really struggling on these new tyres. Those mediums not quite up to temperature yet. Martin in the pits, back out the pits again on soft tyres this time, so he's going to run a medium soft I guess, to finish the race. Uzi and Ricky Lau into turn 1, bit safer through this time, and Wezo trying to sneak up the inside of Ricky Lau. Little bit of contact that time, and Ricky gets himself a penalty for skipping over the apex of turn 3. Very, very busy down here in the midfield. Might be worth a quick spy at the penalties. Yeah, big mix of penalties as well. 9 seconds on Shake's car. Could be all over for the championship win. Of course, it's not all over for everybody's placings in the championship. It's still nice and tight in the main championship overall. Just apart from the key winner. That looks like Panda with a problem. Panda has knocked off his front wing somehow, and should be headed towards the pits right about now. If he goes for medium tyres, that'll see him to the end. Brad has gone into the pits. Why has Brad gone in the pits? This is finally decided on the end of lap 14. Oh dear, problem for Wezo, and a reset to track as well. A problem for Wezo. Turns the car. I've seen that so many times. He hit the car into the apex of the final corner, just getting that snap oversteer. Wezo in the pits, but new front wing for him as well. Lots of drama going on lap 15 of the race. But Lavalac is back up to P5 now, and on fresh tyres for the end of the race. No penalty, as is usual with Avalac's driving. So quietly and controlled, going through the race, building up the positions, and just keeping his head where other people are not. Martin will have better pace at this stage on those tyres, but of course they will not last as long. Looks like he'll have to stop again, Martin. Certainly if Shakes might, then Martin will definitely. Shakes currently ahead of Brad on track, but with a distinct difference in tyre life, which will come to bite Shakes later on in the race towards the end. Keep an eye on that gap. 3.5 seconds at the moment at the front, but it's Avalac who is within DRS range with the driver in front, who is Martin. Let's see if, well, we've got Martin just picks up the fastest lap, so just stretches that lead ahead of Avalac. Martin has got DRS as well, so that's definitely going to stall Avalac's chances for a few laps. Ricky Lau, it looks like, getting past AP Mark. And it's like 16, so we have 20 to go here. Here comes Ricky then. Good overspeed on the McLaren driver Jacques. Both on fresh softs, both pitted on the same lap. Ricky Lau ahead. Got his teammate just up ahead of him as well. So everybody has pitted, apart from AP Marg now, who's running these medium tyres as long as he can. Surprised to see Brad. No, not surprised to see Brad. Surprised to see all the other medium starters already into the pits. Struggling with high fuel, I think, against the likes of AP Marg, who, like Martin, as Avalac picks up his first penalty, like just Martin now, no penalty on AP Marg's car. So Martin gets past Uzi, who I think has been slow through the stadium. I think think he's picked up a problem, Uzi, through the stadium. That allows Avalak right onto the back with DRS. Fairly easily passed as well. Martin ahead is derating, but got his fastest lap for a moment there. Let's see. He's still got it, 17.4. Penalty count getting pretty huge for a few drivers. Sergeant Panda, burn it down, and Shakes as well. Oh, Shakes is out of the race. Shakes is out of the race. What on earth has befallen Shakes? It's the S's has claimed another victim. Shakes and a safety car, both at the same time. Now, that almost guarantees that Brad will outscore Shakes tonight, and it could be curtains for Shakes championship. Shakes out of the race, unfortunately. There's the DNF. There was the car where we've seen others go wrong before him, but unfortunately Shakes, that is race and possibly championship over, as we have a pit stop coming for Brad, with potential of 18 laps to go now. That's the halfway point. Fresh mediums to see him through to the end, absolutely, and he'll be as gutted as anyone to see his teammate out of the session. And Shakes says 2 seasons in a row he DNFs on this track. Shakes, heartbreaking, and yeah, I'm sure we all feel for you, but bravo for taking for pushing Brad as far as you did through into the championship, putting on a good show, and of course for winning the Constructors' Championship as well. So plenty of heart to take from the race, from the season, and with wins as well, I think, right, Shakes? Let me just check that. No, I have a 0 against Shakes' name, 4 wins at this stage, so unfortunately not, I don't think so, but a really good performance overall over the whole season nonetheless. Hopefully come back strong. Stoffel says he'll be back next week. Welcome, Stoffel. Shame you couldn't be with us here tonight. You'll be trying to get that second place in the championship off Shakes if you can, but a tall order in front of you. And Josh says 1 out of 2 with his prediction. Absolutely, yes. In fact, I think if Brad crashes, I think he's still won the championship. Now that Shakes is out. Avalak is in P1, driving under AI, just checking out his settings, his race director updates, but he's in P1 at the moment. This will favour the likes of Martin and AP Mark, who will, of course, have no penalties to pay. New tyres on just about everybody's car. Bizarrely, Uzi has put on hard tyres in the last stop. That is a little bit odd. I guess he started on soft, so what's he doing on hard tyres? He wants to absolutely rag them to the end. Shakes is saying that Josh jinxed him. Yeah. Although, to be fair, he wasn't unkind, he just said he thought both Ferraris would crash. So lap 19 under the safety car. We'll have a quick look at positions gained through the race. So Avalak currently up 12 on the same number of pit stops, 0 left to run to the end of the race against Brad. Avalak storming ride through the field. Nobody can even compare. Burn It Down up 7 is pretty strong. Jacques up 4 and Lord Cypher up 5, as Martin also up 5. And then just a small amount of places lost for the rest, apart from Panda, who's gone down 8. And given the fact that we've lost Shakes and Dan, and Uzi had a major drop down the field as well, I don't think there's much for Panda to be happy about at this stage of proceedings. The race is still young though. Of course, we've only been about just over half distance. The tail of the field have now caught the safety car queue, and Avalak is some distance ahead of Brad, but he'll have to slow down shortly and let the safety car pull ahead. when, of course, Brad will be keen to get back into the lead of this race. Sheikh says that he thinks congratulations are in order for Brad. Well, we'll let the race run, shall we? Let's see whether he can. Whoa, Martin almost overdoing it. Avalak getting very slow through the stadium, looking for a good exit here. Personally, after the race problems I've seen, oh, Avalak crashes on the restart. I was just about to say I would get done with the restart final corner before going for it, but Avalak completely ruining his race into the pits when the entire field are in the safety car queue. But Martin for the lead takes Brad, and we've got a race on our hands now with Brad. Martin getting finally back up to Brad. Brad getting a good drive out of turn 3. Brad really overcooking it, but he's still got the inside line. Well, he thought he had the inside line, but he tried to sweep across. I think it might have been more sensible to break in a straight line there. Still getting a bit loose on the rear from Martin. And now Uzi, who used to be right in the mix up at the front, he's back there again after recovering his race expertly, gaining those positions, and now that time, big shame for Avalak, dropping back. He's 27 seconds off the lead now, plus more than that. He's 27 seconds off the 12th place driver. Lord Cypher retires from the session. Lord Cypher is out on the exit of the S's, but as the drivers head down towards the stadium for the 20th time, that hit, so that VSC followed very quickly by a full safety car. The person who will breathe most easily from that will be Avalak, of course, who will be able to gain all the time he's lost, not necessarily the actual positions, although some drivers into the pits now coming in. And let's just check on those pits, those tyres. Uzi has stayed on the hard tyres, which I have to say is a big surprise to me. I don't quite know why he's using the hard tyres. But the safety car called out for Lord Cypher's retirement shortly after we lost Shakes. And of course we also lost Dan early doors in the race as well. Your new order then on lap 21 under the safety car. Martin from Brad, Uzi and Salzmeister. Burn it down. Mercedes getting a good points haul if things stay similar to as they are now in 4th and 5th, and they need it to move up in the championship. Wezo and Panda, AP Mark, Ricky Lau, Jacques Slater, Pampun and Avalak at the back. Unfortunately, right behind Pampun there, who has pitted again. So Avalak didn't even get any of the drivers who pitted, didn't manage to overtake them. So I do hope that Miss Avalak at home watching her dad race isn't too upset by this. Wezo's still in P6 and in with a good shout of a race result here. He's only got 3 seconds of penalties, which is on the lower end of most drivers. AP Marg and Martin still not a single penalty to their name, driving very well indeed. I think we will be around 14 to go after the next safety car lap. I think that Avalak joined the back of the queue just too late, Avalak and Pampun. And yeah, I think that is the case. So we will go round once again for another lap under this safety car. What's going to be heartbreaking is to look at the places, positions chained. Avalak, it says up 1, but he was up at the front of the field. As I say, I can't tell you how many times I've seen cars losing it on restarts, trying to get the hammer down on the way out of the final corner. There's very little grip on that corner on cold tyres. It's usually better to do your launch when the car's pointing straight, but I can understand why anyone would try and build the gap whenever they see the opportunity. So vulnerable down that long start-finish straight and into turn 1. But unfortunately, Avalak getting about a 90-degree spin on and hitting the pit wall, pit entry area. And that was a potential podium finish, possibly done with. But like I say, still plenty to fight for tonight. Plenty of intrigue. Martin and Brad. Martin versus Brad here. I don't know if that Martin's got the pace to beat Brad. I think Uzi might have the pace to beat Brad, and it's down to penalty countback and racecraft from here on in. Uzi on hard tyres as well. He can of course push like crazy in the final sector of this, the final stint of this race. But will he have the actual lap time in those tyres? He seemed okay on the restart. He seemed like he'd managed to get the heat into the tyres and was on his way. Safety car in this lap. There goes the lights out as well. And we will be back to racing. Hopefully we can see out the rest of this race under green flag conditions and have a real race on our hands to sign off on this penultimate race of the championship and my final race of this foreshortened season here at Full Throttle Racing's Division 2. So the cars just crowding around each other, trying to get a little bit of room in the stadium. Martin temporarily ghosts from the perspective of Uzi. Martin, will he be able to get out of the final corner cleanly? I imagine Brad will. Uzi's going to have to take it very carefully indeed. The top three all successfully getting out of there. Wezo behind the Mercedes in 4th and 5th. Everybody moving on pretty cleanly. Burn It Down has a good run on his teammate here, but not tempted to go for it just yet, just hoping to hang on. But Brad, Uzi and Salzmeister very close here, as is Brad to Martin. Battle for the lead, battle for the podium right in front of our eyes. Tremendous stuff here on lap 23 of 36. Looks like Avalak's got past AP Mark down at the back of the grid, who is driving very clean but a little bit on the slow side tonight. 3.4 seconds behind the field already for AP Mark. But it's Uzi looking more likely here, which is a massive surprise. He obviously knows how to handle these hard tyres better than I've seen most drivers do. There's another penalty for Avalak. I think he might just be going to get into 10th place and get the fastest lap tonight. There's not much else to be fighting for, I think. Brad, 0.3 of a second. The first car with the DRS profit when they get it enabled. It's not enabled yet. Going for a slipstream here. Just making use of the slipstream to stay on terms with Martin. Stay on the wheel tracks. Keep staring at that gearbox and see if you can be in with a shout on the way through the final corner next time round. He's actually going for it here, is he? Not quite. Let's have a quick look at telemetry as well on the drivers. 25% on Brad, 30% on Martin and Uzi. What a race to be conserving that ERS as well. 50% more than anybody else in the front, and a gap starting to develop now back to Salzmeister as well. Look at Uzi right on the back of Brad. He will be unsighted into the corners. Looks to be oversteering deliberately to cope with the loss of aero wake. Tucked up around the outside, not threatening to make a move offline just yet. Just trying to stay with the rhythm of Brad, who should be enjoying life on those medium tyres. Uzi clunking the sausage curb in the middle of the stadium, losing all the gap he had to Brad. It's extending no end, so Brad just within DRS. Uzi about 0.6 behind Brad, but still the DRS has not been enabled on this lap, so I'm slightly surprised that we haven't had that yet. Oh, Sergeant Panda completely outbraking himself into turn 1, just about hangs on to his position 7, but he was trying to get Wezo and it didn't work, unfortunately, for Panda. Burn It Down on the back of his teammate Salzmeister. And then further back, we've got a nice tight battle here. Avalak making up ground. He's up to P9 now. He's obviously got more pace than these drivers around him, but he's also got a fair few penalties on the board as well. So 6 seconds for Avalak. needs to start getting ahead of the other drivers and gapping them if he wants to keep these places. P9 though, respectable after what's befallen Avalac at this stage of a race. With 11 to go, it is Martin and Brad. Uzi with the DRS, or have we not got the DRS enabled? Let's wait. DRS, it takes a while. Yes, we have got DRS back again. So then it's Uzi in third, Salzmeister in fourth. Burn It Down right alongside his teammate, getting past comfortably with the DRS, and into P4 for Burn It Down. That could change after penalties. Really will take some working out, and I'll need all of the last 10 laps to work it all out. Still just one driver without a penalty now. One driver. Martin has finally picked up a penalty, and that's pretty interesting. For I thought Martin had that cushion to Brad, but he's just spent that cushion away. So we've got Brad up on there in the medium tyres, same as Martin in front of him. Now 5 tenths behind. Uzi on the hard tyres, remember, trying to stay with them until the end of this stint, when he'll be in a much better position to attack. Avalac drawing very close to Panda on the way into the stadium. Go back to Brad and see Avalac in a few moments' time. Will Brad be battling for the lead here? 6 tenths might be slightly out of range depending on the top speed downforce trim that he's gone for. Martin is derating now, spending away. Seems to be sweeping across the track in the last possible minute. Brad almost faking him into an attack there. Brad right on the outside. We're looking to leave a gap down the start-finish straight, down the second straight here, I should say. A lot of weaving going on from both drivers to try and find that position, but it's Brad back on top in the lead of the race once again on lap 27. Avalac in P7 and making his way up the field. He's now got a nice gap to the driver behind, so he can focus fully on the driver in front. Uzi keen to get past Martin, but with 6 additional seconds of penalties, this is on a bit of a hiding to nothing for Uzi. Even if he gets both drivers in front, it's going to be some job to stay ahead of them after these penalties and these safety cars we've had, closing the field back up again. Uzi much closer to the car in front this time through the stadium. 4 tenths of a second. Doesn't look like much, but it is something. He might have to wait for Martin to run out of DRS or ERS before he can really launch one. Burn It Down is right behind Uzi, so he won't be able to be too patient here. I think it might be a good time to have a quick look at the penalty situation with regard to race director once they're down past these next overtaking zones. Oh, Uzi stopping on the apex, really caught out there, unless that was a little bit of lag. But Uzi picks up 12 seconds, so does Burn It Down of penalties now, equalising each other, matching like for like, and through the S's they go. Let me have a quick cheeky look. I don't usually do this, but I'm really interested as to the warnings. Penalty and warning, and I think that makes, what, 2 warnings for Brad at the front of the field. So he's very close to picking up his second penalty. That will be music to Martin's ears if he's listening in. Probably isn't. It would be a terrible idea to listen to the commentary while racing, because I say all kinds of stuff that you wouldn't want to hear as a driver. Maybe you get the odd bit of strategy, but I can't imagine that it's a net positive. Anyway, Sergeant Panda has Burn It Down, I think, is in the pits. Sergeant Panda on the attack here, but stuck in the DRS train. No way through. Martin closes on the back of Brad, but can't make the move stick. Can't get into enough, close enough to make a move even, but 6 tenths back still. It just needs to force Brad into another error, and they'll be on a different penalty situation. I will have another look at penalties in a moment for Martin as well. Let's have a quick look at Martin. Warning, warning. Penalty, 2 warnings. Warning. All right, okay. So he's not doing much better, Martin. So he needs to push Brad into a mistake and not make a mistake himself. Otherwise, they'll both be on 6 seconds. So Avalak into 4th place now. Really moving up the field at a great rate of knots. Panda, again, an on-recovery drive, but into P6 and hassling the back of the Mercedes driver, Salzmeister. Quite sure how Avalak managed to get up to P4, but there he is, with a potential for a podium given the difference in penalties on the back of the car in front. Will Martin, he's certainly not close enough to have a go here. 9, 8, 7 tenths, make that 6 as they approach the first corner. And here comes Panda then. Nice move, easy move, but he did all the hard work getting to within a second to pick up that DRS, which isn't easy in the 21 cars. It may be that it's easy in the 22 cars, but certainly not in the 2021 spec. So, a reminder at the front with 6 laps to go, it's Brad, Martin and Uzi, closely followed by Avalak, back on the hunt to get back onto the podium again. Be good to talk to him. He's got, I'm sure he'll have plenty to talk about in the podium interview if he can get himself up there, and he's certainly on target at the moment within the delta of penalties from Uzi. Pampern picks up another one as well. And AP Mark is not far away from getting himself lapped. Could well be getting lapped by the end of the race. Martin, for the first time, has slipped out of the DRS zone, as has everybody else on the rest of the circuit. So, certainly not putting the pressure on Brad. They will pick up a small tow going down this start-finish straight. I couldn't believe the drivers in Azerbaijan this last weekend talking about picking up a tow from a car that was some 4 or 5 seconds up the road ahead, and that it was still beneficial. I thought that was crazy, given how weak the tow feels, even when you're right behind another driver. So really, really incredible what that, either with the Azerbaijan circuit or these latest cars, really can deliver. I'm sure everybody watching is dying to get their hands on the new game. Just keep your expectations in check, because I was commentating on the last game refresh, and I think a lot of people were pretty disappointed for the first month or so. Don't forget though to subscribe to the channel, because I think we're going to be one of the first leagues back on the new game. And if you've got the subscriptions set on your notifications, you won't need to try and find out when we're next online. We'll be here. It'll still be a Wednesday night, of course. Still same time as usual. So with 4 to go, Brad is still holding off the attack of Martin. They are still 1 warning each away from another penalty. It's a bit of a game of chance here to the end of the race. Avalak, I think, is closing on Uzi and will be within DRS range shortly. I'll need to be careful getting past Uzi, who won't want to give up that podium position lightly. Although I wonder, does Uzi think either he's got so many penalties it's not worth fighting, or does he think he's got the league owner behind him and he's only recently joined? It might not be sensible to force an error. Well, thankfully, Pampern has actually caught another driver, so we are within DRS range with at least 1 driver on the circuit. It's Pampern going through the S's. He's got great pace, but just tonight lacking a little bit of that consistency needed to get the car home over a 36 lap stint. Pretty tiring on the grey matter, doing full qualifying followed by 50% race. I do commentate on one league that does a 100% race, and I don't know how the drivers keep the focus. It's amazing. Pampern then, cracking drive then down the start finish line. He's got plenty more ERS than Salzmeister ahead. DRS in operation, just teasing the car into the corner, was confident enough through turn 2 to take the natural racing line, and through then to P6 for Pampoon. Sergeant Panda is actually catching Avalak, whose pace has dropped off on the soft tyres at the end of this race. Tyres really coming to Panda's position here, and Wezo has DNF'd in the pits. Wezo has retired in the pits down in P11. So we are seeing a bit of a tipping point here for those soft tyres, starting to struggle. A reminder of the tyre situation. Yeah, you can see it's Avalak struggling. It was, well, certainly Jacques can burn it down. Well, Jacques definitely is going to be struggling, but Avalak on the oldest soft tyres. He stopped on the first safety car and hasn't stopped since. Uzi should have tyres for another race after this one on those hard tyres as well. So Panda has the DRS. Avalak is weaving. Just helps to break the toe. The slipstream that happens when you follow one car with another. If you can make a slightly unpredictable journey down the straight or something non-straight. There's Wezo's retirement. What is Wezo doing there? Well, he retired in the pits, but just slightly too late for his AI not to pit and restart. But thankfully that does avoid a caution period. We have 2 to go now in the race. Brad leads by 2.2 seconds from Martin, so he's almost beyond penalty doubt here. We'll go back to penalty view. We just need to remember that Avalak is the lone one in the top group of 8 on the soft tyres and struggling as the mediums really come to their own. But it's all about penalties. Oh, it's Martin who got the first of the second penalties with the top 2. So it does look like it's going to be Brad winning the championship in style with a win. If he can bring the car home, he only needs to score, or I'm pretty sure he's won the championship regardless of how he finishes, because Shakes hasn't outscored him, which was the only thing that could stop him tonight. Panda again with the slipstream, trying to use the DRS. He might get closer on the way into turn 4, I should say, after the second DRS zone. He gets really tight and close into turn 1. It's all about your exit now, and I wonder what kind of ERS deployment Avalak is spending. He's actually flashing already there, coming out of the corner. Can Panda close in? Just not quite. Shakes has departed the session, unfortunately. Doesn't even want to watch. But 1.5 laps to go for the leader. I think AP Marker might resist the chance of being lapped here. I think Avalak, after all his drama, I think he'll still get himself onto the podium come the end of the race. Wezo's gone as well properly after DNFing on the previous lap deliberately in the pits, and it's all about at the moment whether Panda will pass Avalak, and Avalak can probably afford to let Panda go. Looking at the penalty difference, I believe he can see the penalty award on Sergeant Panda's car. Avalak with 6 seconds, Panda with 15. No contest really. Avalak's focus is staying within 6 seconds of Uzi, and that is the key for Avalak to stay on the podium. The final lap has begun. Shakes has made it through the first set of corners into the sector 1 cutoff. There he goes. I wonder, is he going to go for fastest lap at all? Let's see what he's got. It's actually burned it down in P9, a 17.0, who's got the fastest lap at the moment. So we will find out into sector 2 whether Brad is going for it or not. It's not really a great deal of point, but racing pride and bragging rights will definitely be there for him. It's a 1.7 second gap though, so no, definitely not going to trouble the fastest lap of the race. No real concern though for Brad as the streamers and fireworks have started firing in the stadium. Brad wins the Mexican Grand Prix here in Division 2, and with it he takes the title. We have a new champion, and his name is Brad. He's won the constructors' title and the drivers' title this season. Martin in P2, and Avalak gets on the podium after one of the most tumultuous races I think I've seen in a long time. Followed by Uzi, good recovery after first lap contact with Shakes. Then Salzmeister in 5th, Panda in 6th. Pampern gets 7th place, Ricky Lau just behind in 8th. Good points haul for Alpha Tauri. Mercedes fading towards the end, but McLaren of Jacques got P9, Burn It Down in P10, and I believe the fastest lap will stay with Burn It Down as well. AP Marg will have a little run to the line now, but it is all about Brad tonight. Our new champion, Brad, 88 F1, wins the Division 2 title in this season 6. So I will get on into a party shortly. The boss is already organising that for us, but we haven't quite got to our standings just yet. We're waiting for AP Mark to cross the line and finish his race, finishing in 11th place, bringing the car home with a single 3-second penalty. Great work. If you guys have got questions for the podium, please write them in the live chat. I'm still monitoring it, and I'll try and ask it. Avalak gets driver of the day for places gained overall, I think, not for the overall difficulties that he suffered, but he kept fighting and got his way all the way to the back. And I have to eat my words because I thought his race was run after that second safety car. There's Brad with the big trophy, and he's going to lift that and spray the champagne to take the title. Nice of Joshua to say congrats to Brad. Likes watching the red cars win. Good result for Martin, and a great comeback from Avalak. Here's your final standings before we get to the podium ceremony. Everyone got penalties tonight in Mexico, but it's Brad, Martin, Avalak, Uzi, Salzmeister, Sergeant Panda, Pampern up from 12th on the grid, 4 stopping his way to 7th, and then we have Ricky Lau, Jacques, Burn It Down, AP Mark, all finished the race. Unfortunately though, we lost Wezo, Lord Cypher, Shakes and Dan from the race, but as I say, today's all about Brad, and we're going to hope to get him into the party and talk to him very shortly. So just bear with me one moment while I get hold of everybody, get myself into the chat, and the drivers make sure that their broadcast and party audio settings are set to share. Hopefully they will be, and whoever is Darth Vadering their way through the microphone, if they could just back off slightly, because that will come through on the stream quite loud. But anyway, that is the end of our race tonight. It's the end of the battle for the top step in the Drivers' Championship as well. But Brad wins the race, and congratulations, Brad. You are the champion of Division 2 Season 6.
Thank you very much, Weber. Yeah, today was a very tough race, actually. Probably my toughest race of the season so far. But Martin Nykes, he was giving me a good battle. It's just a pity for Shakes. I don't know what happened there. I think it was in the middle sector where he was struggling a bit, and he just lost it. So that was a bit unfortunate. But yeah, it was a good season. I'm happy.
You don't sound as if you just won a championship, but maybe in a couple of days you'll reflect and realise what you've done. It's a great achievement over the course of the last few weeks.
Well, I was a bit nervous there at the end because I really struggle in sector 2 because I'm on the pad, so sector 2 is a bit tricky for the pad drivers, and Martin was catching me quite a bit in sector 2, so I always had to maintain that gap to him out of the DRS zone, and that made me a bit nervous. But yeah, no, I'm relieved. It's a good championship.
Excellent stuff. Yeah, I think wins are bigger emotional high, but a championship stays with you longer, I think. But yeah, fantastic stuff. Talk us through those first couple of laps, because we saw Uzi and your teammate come together through turn 1 of lap 1, and then things got a little bit tense and tight, especially after the safety car as well. So did you keep the faith the whole time? Did you get much of a view on what happened between Shakes and Uzi?
Well, the start of the race, they had I had very slow straight line speed. My car was set up for the corners, so I had very slow straight line speed. So I knew they were going to come for me down the straights. And but then I broke a little bit later, and then therefore passing them in the corners. I didn't see what happened to Shakes and Uzi, unfortunately. I don't know what happened there. Masma, you have to ask Shakes about that.
Yes, indeed. Well, understandably, I think Shakes has gone off to drown his sorrows in some respect. But yeah, fantastic to watch you. And obviously, you've got the double, you've got the drivers and the constructors championship. So congrats, and hopefully more to come next season.
Oh, thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Good to see. Well, also joining us on the podium and in the box is Martin. Martin got a second place out of tonight, and you were taking Brad pretty close. I was looking at Race Director a couple of times, and you were very, very level, but unfortunately you just got that extra penalty at the end. Did you feel like you had the win in you tonight? Excellent. And how did your strategy work out in the end? Did you feel like there's room for improvement, or do you feel pretty happy? I'm really glad you brought that up, because I was a bit scared to bring up the subject with Avalak on the call at the moment.
Careful now.
But congratulations, and good to see you in the podium ceremony as well, Martin. Well done, excellent stuff. Avalak, one of the most dramatic races I can remember watching was from your seat, and I was just in the middle of saying, I hope he's careful on the way out of the final corner, because I've seen this go wrong for so many restarts. And, well, talk us through it.
Yeah, it's quite annoying. I mean, the game just breaks you under safety car, no matter how big that gap is, and it just auto-breaks you. And if you're in the wrong gear and you get out of it, then you spin. So luckily it wasn't a DNF, but by that time I was quite tired to come from the back to the front. It was slightly annoying, because I thought, I fought quite hard from the back to fourth or third or whatever it was, and then I lost it, and then I had to do it all over again, and I was like, how many times can I do this tonight? So safety car saved me a little bit, but podium was well overdue. I had a bad couple of races, so this is good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do this more often, though.
It was yeah, I'm sure it's no good for your heart rate or your chill, but yeah, good to get the result in the end.
When you do the standings the next morning and you look at yourself and you see yourself at the bottom of the standings and you go like, really, do I have to do this today? I really don't feel like it. But
maybe that should be a new rule, that only the winner has to do the standings each week, because I'm sure they'll be happy.
They can win something like that, Weber. Yeah, absolutely. No, look, from my side, just congrats to Brad on his championship. They caught us a bit with the stuff. They shouldn't have been in Division 2, Mr. Brad. but well thought. Him and Shakes, and well done to Martin. It's the first time I hear Martin's voice, so I know chatting with Martin. And well done, Martin. All the hard work that you've done pays off, young man. So well done for that.
Yeah, Martin's pace is definitely improving. Definitely.
Yeah, for his age, I mean, he should call me uncle. Yeah. So that's quite. Martin is quite young, Weber. So he's one of the up and young coming stars, hopefully.
Talking of young people, I understand you had your daughter watching and getting quite upset at different points tonight.
They do watch Formula One with me, and they're quite big Red Bull fans. Not necessarily Max fans, but definitely Red Bull fans. And the question was just asked in Q3. It's like, where's the Red Bull? So I was like, I don't know. It's not there. And she was quite upset. So yeah, she enjoys gaming. So she gets on the wheel every now and again at her age. So that's good. But Webo, from my side, before we say goodbye to everyone, big thanks for this season. Welcome to the FTR family. I know I've welcomed you numerous times, but thank you very much for all the hard work this season, for top comms, legend stuff, and very happy to have you with us next season. I can't wait for next season's game.
Yeah, it should be good. I hope we get a nice gentle introduction with the servers and glitches, but yes, so I'm a little bit apprehensive with the first couple of weeks, but hopefully we'll be alright and we'll survive.
Yeah, I'm quite sure we'll be okay. I mean, we start only, two weeks after the new game,
nice,
so hopefully they sort out some of the issues. And a new reshuffle of Premier Division and Division 2, so you'll see some new drivers in Division 2 next season, and some new drivers in Premier Division, so it's going to be very exciting. But from my side, once again, thank you very much for everything, Weber.
Well, absolutely, yeah. It's been an absolute blast, and I can't wait for the next one. Well, thanks everybody for watching. Thanks for liking the video and subscribing to the channel on your way out. Don't forget, we've got a race next week. I'm not sure whether we'll be broadcasting or not, but there's also the Premier Division to come this week. So subscribing to the channel is the best way of knowing when everyone's next on. If you want to hear my commentary anymore, you can follow me on Twitter at WeboRed5, just about everywhere. But from everyone involved at Full Throttle Racing, good night, and we will catch you on the next race day.